I have a little story that I think speaks to that. I want to read it to you because I think all of our lives, we just kind of fight against this thing. Murray was 14 before he began to notice muffins. He was 17 when they became a roaring issue in his life. His compulsion for muffins came upon him all at once in late adolescence. His whole world, it seemed to him, had begun to center around them. It wasn't just bakeries that tempted him. Everyone sold muffins. Cafes and restaurants, bars and service stations. It was Madison Avenue that seemed to really go berserk because muffins were used to sell everything from cologne to carburetors. Murray would see a huge billboard that said, "Fly Acapulco." Sure enough, on the billboard was a picture of a muffin. The muffins always looked good, and many books that had muffins pictured right on the dust jacket sold very well. And you didn't have to read any novel very far before the hero and heroine sat down to huge helpings of muffins. The more muffins that found their way into novels, the better the books sold. And those who were bestsellers had muffins on every page, often in fits of desperate, mouth-cramming, choking noises. The theaters even rated their films. Certain letters meant C-101 black dogs, approved for children, no muffins. Others said, see Madonna's macadamias, no kids allowed, muffins in every scene. Murray would have gone on living in his muffin-saturated world except that he went to church. And there the preacher would say, keep away from all this godless muffinizing. Yes, brothers and sisters, bran, blueberry, rye, raisin, or raw cocoa, all are depraved. And he'd end his sermon with the story of a beautiful girl who laid down her Bible and fell into a fit of dissipated muffinizing that led her at last to the gutters of gluttony. On Sundays, Murray would listen to the sermons, and he agreed to avoid the epidemic of muffin mania sweeping the country. But on Mondays, it was harder to carry out his resolution. After all, he said, I'm young, and muffins are the preoccupation of the young. On Friday, he went to the gym, shot a few baskets. While dressing, he heard the guys talk about the weekend muffins they were going to enjoy. He knew they'd all meet again on Monday, and the muffin report would come in. He had a date set up for that evening. Her name was Helen. She was beautiful. And in merely thinking of him, muffin mania settled down all over Murray. On the night of the day, he took her to a movie. There were plenty. And he took her out for dessert and then home. And then beads of perspiration broke out all over him when he said, Helen, about muffins. He looked at Helen hopefully, but she was resolute. Murray, she said, those who eat dessert first spoil the banquet of life. Never think of muffins before dinner, and never say I want before you say I do. They kissed goodnight. They dated again and again. And Murray usually thought about muffins the whole time he was with Helen, but he rarely said so. After a courtship of 2 years, Murray took Helen to the altar. He kissed her after they played Trumpet Voluntary and Oh Promise Me. They cut the cake, drank punch, opened gifts, flew away to Niagara Falls. He carried her across the threshold of her motel room. And then he said, Yahoo, muffins at last. To everything there is a season. And of course, those who wait to bless their muffins are too wise to speak of them in the shallow company of gluttons who devour the dough because the oven takes too long.